It says, most times when a lion and a gazelle are running, it says the gazelle always win because the lion is running for food, the gazelle is running for his life. Who guess what my answer is? Who can guess? Because the quote was one funny quote. In fact, it's an irritating quote. Because the quote is encouraging me to be a gazelle. And my answer is that I'm not sure I want to be a gazelle in this quote. Because it was a quote that glamorized that the gazelle runs faster than the lion. Because one is running for life, one is running for food. I say, I don't want to be a gazelle. I don't want to be the one they want to eat. Whether I then survive being eaten or not, I don't want to be the one they want to eat. Are we learning at all? So back to our investment. You must understand that when you're doing investment, particularly high-risk investment, you are likely to be the gazelle. Because, for example, what happened with CBES, that people lost billions. The people who don't want to pay me $18,000 paid CBES $1 billion. I'm talking of Association of Poor People now. The Association of Poor People who claimed they didn't have money contributed $1 billion for CBES. Okay? And then the same people are complaining about coaching that they can't afford. Now, you see, there was an opportunity for me to get revenge, and it was yesterday. Because we then have this group coaching that is $100, Abi? Yeah. Okay? As soon as, now, the ranting post that got them to be angry that we're advertising something for 18,000 got over 7,000 comments. Right? Just on my page alone. You know, everybody too did their own version and it went viral. On my page alone, comment here and there. When we then post the one they can afford, $100, comment reduced to 400 comments. What does that tell you? The problem was never about $18,000. People just wanted who to blame their frustration on. Right? Who to blame for their failure. Am I making sense at all? And yesterday morning, I had a choice to make myself the humble, Jesus that took away the sin of the world. Or I roar like a lion. And what did you guess I did? Yes, now. To pick up, I went here. What did I do? I roar. And the trend has died down. So it's a choice. It's a choice. If you want to do investment and keep losing money, it's a choice. So what we shared yesterday, when you do high-risk investment, I'm not saying Ponzi, high risk, pull out some of your profit. Okay? So that by the time the thing crash, you have what? You've made something good. We talked about physical asset. We said always put 1/3 of your money into what? Into physical asset. 1/3 of your money must be into assets you can touch, you can feel. Real estate, gold. Example. Give me more example. Hotels, right? Example, come on. Why are we so cold? Should we go back to where we used yesterday? Okay? Example of physical assets. Who can give me? Huh? I've mentioned property now. Under property, you have hotel, you have schools, you have physical. We talked about gold. We talked about diamonds, right? Huh? Theme park is still part of real estate. We also talk about bullets and guns. Okay? It is. It is. People are in the business of war. Why do you think there's war all over the world? It's a business. It's a business. A lot of people don't know that one of the most lucrative business in the world is military equipments, is all that, and it's physical. Physical assets are just things that are touchable, you can hold, they're tangible, and they are called physical assets. I have also said that I don't do those. I don't do guns and bullets because of my own faith and belief. I don't believe in war. I believe in peace. But I don't judge. Okay, people do their thing, but this is a class. I'm just teaching you an example of what? Physical assets. Then we talked about what? Knowledge assets, isn't it? Knowledge assets. And here we said this is the foundation of wealth. Knowledge assets. You are as rich as the quality of information at your disposal. You are as powerful as the quality of your information at your disposal. Your enemy either win or lose based on the quality of information you operate with. Does that make sense at all? Let me say that again. Your enemy either wins or lose based on the quality of information at your disposal. Your enemy has an edge over you based on the quality of information at your what? At your disposal. Haven't you seen people who have lost their life because they were scared of some mysterious witches and wizards? Haven't you? Okay? Without knowing that you are more powerful than witches and wizards. Way more powerful. Okay? Without even knowing that witches and wizards no longer operate now. They operate on social media. Right? Yeah, witchcraft is now on social media. It's no longer... No, it's digital now. It's no longer, say, I'm waiting for it. It's on social media. They are monitoring you. As you're in Doha now, some of you, your village people have seen you. I remember a friend of mine, went to school together, and we were in New York, and we reconciled. He's moved to New York. I wasn't living in the US that time. But each time I visit him, he would tell me I must not post his picture. Right? I say, why? He say, my village people. I don't want them to know I'm in New York. What's the distraction? You want to meet them. When the guests come, we'll get them more chairs. Now, they are late. Abi? At least they should stand for a while the chairs then come. They are late. Most people don't know that what I'm doing is intentional. I have rebranded Nigerian perception internationally than most presidents of Nigeria. Right? I've changed the perception of how Nigerians see us. Some of you were around yesterday, for example. A Palestinian was in the room, isn't it? Don't you think I gave him a better impression of Nigerians than he's ever thought? We started the event on time. There was no African time, and he saw it. We're very professional. He got value. There was dignity to how we treated everybody in the room. Right? I've marketed Nigeria more than most people have. And we need to know, you are not branding this country when you pull down another Nigerian. You're not. When you use social media to pull down another Nigerian, you've just told people Nigerians cannot be trusted. You cannot do business with Nigerians. Because I've asked the same question to, okay, will you go to Canada? Canada is the one. They told me, before I started touring Canada, that I needed to be careful with Canadians. They are in Canada, but they behave like Nigerians. Nigerians in Canada. I kid you not. But I didn't know it until I visited. It's just an association of they've come to cheat us. They come to cheat us. You need to be rich first before somebody will cheat you. Have the money first. Right? And I remember, and this is very important, when I got to Canada, I started asking the Indians in Canada. Because, by the way, Indians and Chinese run Canada. Not even the natives. They own the lands, they own real estate, they own everything in Canada. So I was asking them, I said, don't you people feel cheated as Indians? Is there nobody in your team? Because the way how most Indian entrepreneurs make money is through their temple, right? The Buddhist temple. The leadership will say, one of us has this business if you want to invest. So one of my partners in the US has the... May you have rich friends. Come on, say the amen better. Because this man sold me a property in the US of over $3 million. And the day we were meeting for the first time on the property, he then told me, he said, oh, my house is not too far, Dr. Stephen. Will you like to, let's just take tea in my house. Now, one secret of rich people. I've moved to relational assets. One secret of rich people, once they say come to their house, you see, when somebody is bragging about his house, go. There's a house worth bragging about. Now, he wasn't bragging, he was humble about it. Oh, my house not far, let's take coffee. Me, I knew the signal. This man's house will be a wonder. And oh boy, by the time the gate opened, this was a museum, literally a water park. It was over 21 acres, one man living there. It has a water park, right? The guest visitors area can take almost 10-bedroom visitors. Huge. So after we ate, and very simple food, Indians can be very simple with their approach. He said that he has some other properties around that will I be interested in seeing? I said yes. The answer was just yes. Always say yes to the right things. Because some of us, our yes is to the what? Is the wrong things. And then, cut a long story short, in another 3 hours, this man, within just Houston area, showed me over $200 million worth of property that he owns. I then asked him, I said, how many investors helped you to raise this money? He said, we're just 70. All Indians. So I've asked people like him, how have you managed, are we learning here? People in your community who defraud you or betrayed you. Maybe you gather money and you gave this person, right? And then you didn't get value. They said, we will tell our people that we will no longer do business with him and look for another Indian that we will still do business with. What will Nigerians do? If you really feel somebody cheated you, the first place to go is the court of law, not social media. Court of law. So that you go and prove, are we together now, that the person what? Defrauded you. And when people defraud you, it is not criminal, it's civil. Except it's institutions that can do investigation. Like if it's a PLC company, say, oh, they diverted funds. Right? Are we learning here now? There's a man runs his own business, you did business, he didn't go the way you want, take him to court. When you can prove your case, the court will say pay him back, that the person who defrauded you pay back, and probably even put interest. If you really want result, where will you go? Come on, help me. Is it not the court? What will Nigerians do? Come on social media. Without any evidence. It's a fraud. It's a this. And what has that done? Today, we don't know who is fraud and who is not fraud. Right? We don't know who is real and who is what? Not real. Because we just mix everything together. And today, virtually every entrepreneur is a scammer in Nigeria now. Virtually, if you've not heard that word scammer, you've not started business. Right? You've not started business. But where am I going? Why are those things persistent? Relational assets. Are you aware rich people don't want anybody to even know they did business with you? I have had people who have cheated me $100,000, $300,000. Right? You will not see me post on social media. I know their name. They are still on social media. I take them to court. Okay? It's poor man that wants to prove that he has money that he doesn't have. Who knows what I'm talking about? Are we together? I saw something circulating online, and I saw somebody's name there. It was a man who bought a property from us in Asaba and said he wants refund. They've since paid him his money back last year. And there is an article going around And guess how much is the money? 5 million. 5 million. He did not put that it's 5 million there. It's probably $18,000 too. We love sensationalism. Now, the greater impact of our sensationalism is what I'm saying. It's affecting all of you in this room. Because you come to Doha and somebody is already doubting you because you say, I'm a Nigerian. Without you doing it, just by saying where you come from. Who made them feel that way? Your fellow Nigerians. Because whether you like Nigeria or not, you are still a Nigerian. Whether you like Africa or not, you are still what? And you know the way God cheated us? He made our skin to point to where we are coming from. Does this make sense at all? If you were to be white, isn't it? Let's assume something is going up in Europe. You know, you can pretend to say, no, I'm American. You know, who knows what I'm talking about? I'm American, or I'm from North America, I'm from Canada. But you as African, your skin already betrays you. You are African. And some of us, even our tongues also. Right? So if you want to pretend that I'm African American, some of you can't twist your tongue that way. Relational what? Assets. You can never be richer than the quality of relationships you have. So many of you have attempted to start business. What has happened to your business? It crumbles. You know why? Your first set of customers are all poor. And today, they did business of 5,000 riyal with you, Abi? Tomorrow, they say they want their money back. How will you ever grow your business? How? So if you are serious about being wealthy, you must move up with your relationship. You must move up with your relationship. How many of you are, again, I don't know that you are at that point, but how many of you have grown in your life financially to a level that there were people who knew you when you were poor, who today want to drag you? I want to even remind people that when in school, you know no book, I'm a teacher. Who has had this experience? Right? Say, no book, I'm a teacher. Right? He doesn't know anything. But what has happened to you, if you check, you've moved up the ladder. Are we together now? You've what? Moved up the ladder. And I want to encourage you today, if you are really serious about wealth, invest in relationship assets. Invest in relationship assets. When I started my coaching program, one of the things I realized was the challenge of many of the entrepreneurs I was mentoring was that they were also not meeting wealthy entrepreneurs. My brother is laughing. Maybe you are one of those who don't like my 18K. But don't worry, you are here for free. So you can tell them. So I realized that many of the people, are we together, didn't have quality relationship to work with. Busayo is here. In our billionaire coaching program, she had been able to help another member who had land but didn't have money. Right? She's building a mall on his property now. They're making money together. Mohammed is here. Mohammed was able to help Busayo, right, with her HR challenges. Are we together now? And you are beginning to see what? Wealth already moving around what? The circle. Okay? But the issue is, and I have this question, I want someone to honestly answer me. I don't want you to answer me because we're in a training. Can two poor people help themselves? I need a very honest answer. Huh? Two poor people, yes. Okay, please tell me. Okay, they can help each other to bring down another person. Two poor people can help themselves. This became real for me, like I said, when my mother was sick and we needed money. And we did not even have whether relations or anybody who could give us money to take her to diagnose her. And that experience taught me that, look, you don't know how important money is, right? Until certain life-threatening issues happen that requires money. And you don't even have the money to do it. and you have people who really love you, but they just cannot help. It's like if they had the money, they would give it. But they just can't help. And it's at that point you now know the power of wealth. So I want you to write this down. If you care about poor people, become rich so you can help them. Can I say that again? If you what? Care about what? Poor people, become what? Rich so you can what? Help them. By the grace of God, I've paid tuition fee of over 5,000 children. I went to one of our estates one day, and here was I seeing this, Bukola, how old was it? 11 or 12? The boy that is in my scholarship. 13 that time. I saw this 13-year-old boy doing carpentry work in one of our sites. You know, and again, it's good to be very exposed. And I know something called child labor. So I said, who brought this child here? Why is he in our site? Then the person called and said, I'm his uncle. His father just died. The mother is my sister. They gave him to learn apprenticeship from me, right? We couldn't afford to send him to school. And I looked at the man, the uncle. I said, I want this boy to go home now, get a school now, and to whatever level he wants to get education, I am paying. I think you should clap at this point. So we took him to this school, bought him uniform, right? His first result, D's and E's, first time. Second time, started saying C's and D's. Third time, started saying B's and C's. Today, the last result, what did he have? All A, a few B's. Huh? He's in SS3 now, because she knows, because she's the one specifically, and yeah, you can clap. Now, can I do that being poor? Eh? An advice. Now, hear this. Please hear this. I'm not a politician, so I don't have government money to steal. I am not a contractor with government. I don't have government money to steal. Where do you think that money came from? Sometimes I ask question, do people think? Do people think? Right? If you can't afford 18,000, you can't afford it, but don't assume everybody can't afford it. But part of those who have been able to afford it have put me in a position to channel some of that money to help. Are we together now? That's how it works. You have to make money somewhere to pay some bills. Money is not mythical. That's the problem of why people remain poor. Because money is mythical. They don't understand money is science. There has to be, how do we make the money? Where is the money coming from? What business are we doing? What are we trading? This is the reason why today somebody comes and starts doing charity. You don't say, where did the money come from? Everybody just say, he's a good man, he's a good man. Then tomorrow when they hear something negative, they say, oh, we've always thought of it, we've always known. That is not how this works, ladies and gentlemen. What is the source of the wealth? Are we learning here? What exactly is this person trading? And I want us to get to that point when we start asking those questions. Just don't be bamboozled by people claiming to be good. Where is the source? What are they doing? What business are they doing? Where is the money coming from? Where is the money going? We want legitimate businesses. But please build relationship with those who have such. You can't grow your wealth having all your friends poor. That's how it works. So I have an assignment for all of you in relational assets. I want you to target 7 people who live here in Doha, right, who are worth at least 20 million riyal in wealth, okay, that you will start your relationship with. And you need to know that in building relationship assets is intentional. People are not just going to be your friend by mistake. You have to be intentional in what? In building friendship with the rich. So yesterday we talked about golf course being one of them. We talked about special clubs being one of them. I mentioned to you how when I moved to Houston, I now live in Houston, in the US. That's also another thing some of the people talking on social media don't know. I don't live in Nigeria. I live in the US. I spend dollars, so I charge dollars. Are we together? But when I moved to Houston, one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to research where can I meet wealthy people. Remember, I cannot be richer than the what? The quality of people. You need to know that one. And I did not come to Houston being poor. What even took me to Houston is our $200 million real estate expansion. Okay? So I'm raising $200 million as we speak. Who are those who have the money? So I need to meet them. So I started doing some research. Here's one of the things I discovered. I discovered a particular club, right? That for you to be a member of that club, you have to pay 100,000 US dollars. But the secret is why I don't like people coming late. You know, this is what African time does. They come late, they distract all of us. So I realized that when I'm so distracted now. What was the last thing I said? So $100,000 to join the club, right? $100,000 to join the club, and you and I agree with me. Anybody who can pay $100,000 is definitely a multi-millionaire. Two of us, and that was the intention. Then I was checking again. I saw another hotel. This particular hotel is per night. I think it was also over $100,000 per night, right? But all of it is designed for what? For you to meet people at the what? At the topmost top. So if I'm saying I need you to get 7 people in Doha who are worth at least 20 million riyal, I'm saying you also have to ask yourself, where do those kind of people go? When I moved to Dubai, I realized that there is a Rolls Royce club. So if you buy a Rolls Royce, you can join a Rolls Royce club. And they have days where they go to the desert. They have this desert road in UAE where you barely see anybody coming. And that's where some of them then do racing, and then you all kind of hang out and admire each other's cars. But you see, all those things look petty, isn't it? Who thinks it looks petty? We hang out, we're admiring your car, my car. Who thinks it looks petty? Can I see your hands up? Huh? It's petty. But why do you think they do it? Networking. It's how they network. Am I making sense at all? It's how they network. Right? So many of us have to understand that you have to be intentional about where do you go. Some of you, it's about where you live. It's about how you talk. It's about the friends you keep. You hate you are poor, but you keep the same set of people that are poor. And you are not intentional about beginning to build relationship with the wealthy. And then you're wondering why you think in a certain way. So and this is very important because you also need to know when it comes to business and products. I don't know if you are into real estate, please switch off your phone, put it on vibration. These are corporate ethics, right? Switch it off, put it on vibration. How many of you are into real estate here? Real estate, real estate, real estate, real estate, real estate. Okay, good. How do you get your customer? Can anybody help me? How do you get your customer, your real estate customers? Yeah. Hmm? Yeah, how do you make connection? You're making connection, but how do you make the connection?
I ask for their requirements, what they are looking for, and I make a report.
So you do online adverts, and then when you get the leads, you call them, and right? Beautiful. Now, are you aware this is the lowest way to acquire customers? And this model attracts some of the cheapest, low-end kind of transactions, right? The high-ticket transaction is what? Is relational, is personal. I must know you, right? I must know who you are. Are you aware certain jobs are never advertised? For example, it's strictly relational circle, right? Because the people, for example, if it's a big job, the money involved is high. Why do they do that? People sometimes ask those questions. You guys are distracting me. If there can have been minimal movement, I appreciate it. I get distracted once there's movement, please. Minimal movement, please. Where was I? Yeah, so certain high-paying jobs, for example, UN job. I remember somebody was sharing our conference in Abuja. She got a UN job. It was never advertised. The person in charge reached out to certain high net worth people and said, who do you trust? Who do you know can do this? And boom, 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 UN job gone. Right? So sometimes we don't even know opportunities that we have missed because the opportunity never announced itself. Right? It's still among certain circle. Are we together now? I'll give you an example. Let's say C. Ronaldo decides to visit Doha and wants to buy property. Who thinks he will put it on social media? Hey, I'm C. Ronaldo, I'm looking for property to buy. It will never be advertised. True of us. It will be within his what? His circle. He tells somebody close to him, say, I'm thinking of buying property in Doha. Write down and say, I have an agent. I have somebody I know. Imagine you know that person. So big ticket transaction are what? Relational. Very relational. And that's why you want to rise to the highest level and be as relational as you can be. Today, I'm no longer, if you see any adverts I put out, it's for my staff. The real big tickets I do now is very what? Is at the highest level. And the people involved just call me, I need this. How, can you help out? Simple. And deal done. Right? It's very relational. So please, when I say get 7 new relationships that are these are people that are worth over 20 million riyals, I mean what I'm saying. Build it. And please never build a parasitic relationship. Don't come and be somebody's friend because of what you get. When I build relationship with people, it's organic. I genuinely want to know how you got the money, right? How did you get to where you are? It's not that I'm coming around so you give me money. Most of the transaction happen organically. It was after those people just liked me, knew who I was, knew what I stand for, that naturally this one should be something, we should give Stephen Akita. Is this making sense? So don't meet these 20 people with, hey, he's rich. Let me see. That's also another negative moves that people make, right? Where it's just toxic. It's just what can I grab? I heard the guy is rich. Or I heard the girl is rich. Don't live your life that way. Build genuine connections. In fact, when you meet people who are richer than you, be the one to give them gifts so that they can class you separately. Every week, I get more than 100 money requests. Every week. More than what? So, if somebody in this room comes and makes such requests, who are you now? Either among the 100 or 101. And you are in a box. True of us. But if somebody in this room comes and says, no, I don't want to be in those boxes. And there's nothing wrong. I mean, life is a phases. There may be a season of your life you need help and people need to help you. That's okay. Right? But some of us don't want to join that box. I'm one that I don't want to join that box with nobody. So when I build relationship, my first moves are always, I want to give. I remember I once asked Dr. Cosmos Maduka, I said, why did you give me access? Right? Why? Okay? This way older entrepreneur. His business is 50 years this year. Yeah, it's been in business since he was 15 years of age. Multi-billions in dollars. I mean, it's rated quite lower than it really is, actually. And you know what he said? He said, the first time I met you, you invited me to speak for you. The event is free. You do not charge anybody, but you paid me for speaking. He said, the first time I wonder what you were trying to prove. Were you trying to prove you are rich? Or what? He said, but I noticed you did it the second time. And then you do it the third time. He said, at some point, I knew you wanted to know what I know. And I said, I'm going to give it to you. Yeah, you can clap now. These are the things you clap for. Are we together now? Because why? He's been used to what? People like that. His peer of over 40 years one day sent me a message and said, I've been with this man for 40 years. You're among 3 people in 40 years that is not after him for money. In 40 years of being the peer of this man, you're among 3 people that didn't come to him for money. So as much as I'm advising you to build relationship with wealthy people, are we getting it now? Make sure you are not playing games. If business come, let it be what? Organic, let it be natural. Genuinely want to know why, how they think, what they did, what are the moves. Are we together now? Because there are 2 concepts to this. I can either give you fish or what? Teach you how to what? Fish. I give you fish or teach you to fish. So every day of my life, these are the 2 people coming to me. I'm either meeting people who want to get fish from me. Oh, Dr. Stevie is here. Let me charge him for my services. Right? Or I'm meeting people who say, you know what, I'm not even going to charge you a dime. I want to know what you know. I want to know why people are paying you $18,000, $20,000. By the way, it's not 18, it's $20,000. I only gave discount and I regretted it because that's what made me trend. Okay? So I want to know why anybody wants to pay this man, what? $20,000. How many of you, can I shock you? There was a time I started paying coaches in the world, not for what they are teaching, because I felt I knew most of what they were teaching. But who can guess what I was paying them for? Not even that. No. I was going to their events, yeah. No, I wanted to know how they package what they know that made people pay them that high. Because I know if you have been there where, I think you were telling me that, Abi. He's a psychologist, clinical for that matter, not just a normal psychologist. You can be a psychologist and you're not practicing. He is a clinical psychologist, so he's practicing. Abi? With the United Nations, add the United Nations on top. Okay? With the United Nations. And then he met another psychologist, okay, who happened to be somebody I know. And then she charged him $4,000. 12 sessions. The man remembers that he's a bit pissed off, right? And he was really upset about why, he was paying $4,000. $4,000. And they are both psychologists. Am I making sense at all? Now, what did you tell me got you pissed off? Right? He said he was pissed off that it means I've been wasting my talent. Because even though he works with the UN, that's probably his monthly salary, a little bit. Are we together now? And somebody is charging that for a few hours, $4,000. But what should someone like him consider? Who can tell me? If I'm in his shoe, what should I be considering? Go and learn from her, but not just learn. How did she package psychology practice that she's able to charge $4,000 and I'm charging less? Is this making sense at all? So there was a phase of my life, I literally was going to meet coaches, and the only thing I wanted to see is how did these coaches package what they were teaching that they were able to charge a lot more. I couldn't charge it. Are we learning at all? So when you're building relationship assets or relational assets, sometimes part of what you're looking for in those relationships is how has this person built their business? How have they built their career? Right? How have they packaged what they do in such a way that they attract a lot more good things to it? Right? Today was the burial of Pope Francis, isn't it? There have been many popes, isn't it? Right? He's got an unusual attention. Who agrees with me? Okay? But shouldn't the next pope be saying, I need to research what Pope Francis did that made people to so love him? Right? What were the decisions he took that make the whole world, this burial, whether CNN, ABC, everything is logged down. No other event is being streamed now. It's about the Pope. But you will look that it was intentional. The Pope was intentional. In fact, there are pictures where typically you carry some things for the Pope, you just leave him alone. They want to dress him in a way. Say, no, I just want to be the Pope of the people. Right? His last will was that they should bury him. Typically, they bury them in a very expensive, caskets and all. They say they want a wooden casket. They bury all popes in a particular place, in the Vatican. He said no, he wants to be buried in one local, Vatican church. I would say Catholic church, rather. So my point is, in building great business, in investment, in wealth creation, you must build certain relationship just for the purpose of, I want to learn why this person is more successful than myself. Sometimes in communication, how do they communicate? We both know the same thing, but have you been in a meeting where you and your friend, your friend said the same thing, but got different reaction, better reaction than you, right? Just because your friend has a better communication, skills. Make sense? So number 5 asset class is paper assets. Okay? And with paper assets, I always advise that you need not just a broker, but you also need a coach that understand how the capital market works all over the world. But if you're a rookie, I always advise you can use apps and just target Fortune 500 companies. Okay? I remember one of my students in Dubai, and she was a career person, and she was just sharing with me, said, Dr. Stephen, you teach about this investment, wealth, and all that. My salary is $5,000 every month. How do someone like me build wealth? I said, simple. There are apps. eToro is one of them. There are many of them. You can Google apps. I said, you can link your card to them and start with Fortune 500. Don't trade because you're not an expert, right? You can say, I'll buy Tesla every month, right? $200, right? I will buy Amazon every month. Is this making sense? Right? I will just pick certain Fortune 500 and just be buying. 1 year later, she reached out to me and said, Dr. Stephen, I've actually more than doubled my money. And I want to thank you for doing that. So you could start, if, again, you need really, really professionals to guide you here. But as a layman, just start. I'm going to start $200 every month. I'll be buying certain, and please note this. Every investment has a risk. And I've argued this over time. Don't do investment with the mindset, I must always win. No. We remember just a few weeks ago how the US...
They say greatness begins in the most unlikely places. This is not just a story about wealth. It's about grit, shame, vision, and triumph.
Hey guys, I thought I have people who are hungry about investment here. Huh? Nobody knows. Over 6.5 trillion. Right? 6.5 trillion. So literally everything went crashing. Even including the Fortune 500 companies. So it's important to know that when it comes to investment, is a risk. No matter, there's no guarantee. Sometimes people feel, if I deal with Amazon, then I'm not going to lose money. No, there will be times. But if you are investing in the long run, what will happen? It's going to come back again. Right? It's going to come back again. But what is important is invest for the long haul. If you build the habit to say, I want to be putting in $500 every month, in 1 year, how much will you have put aside? Anybody help me? $6,000, isn't it? Right? What is the average gains of Fortune 500 or S&P? Who can guess? Average 40%? Fortune 500? Is there data? I don't have the data, that's why I'm asking you. Right? Can somebody Google it? What's the average yearly gain of Fortune 500 companies? Right? Because I want to have us break this down. We see how much it will have gained in 1 year. Then you multiply that by 10 years. And you will see that in 10 years, you can literally, right? Somebody said 200%? 200%. Really? In 10 years' time. Okay? So, are you sure? Is this data? I don't want to quote because people are watching us all over the world. Huh? 10.13, right? So if you do compound, right? No, we can even do compound. If you compound it, right, which is what Warren Buffett teaches, right? Once you're not withdrawing it and it's being compounded, actually you can get 200. You are not far from the truth. But mind you, and that's why it will even be more than 200 because every year you are introducing a new what? A new 6,000, remember? So this 6,000 has grown by what? 10.1, isn't it? Then you add another 6,000, then another 6,000. So we call it compound interest. You will see that you will have gained more than what? 200% in 10 years. Now, can we even just use the 200%? 6,000 multiplied by 200. Right? No, not multiplied by 200. No. 200% of 2 is how much? That's just multiplied by 2. Huh? That will be 18? Yes, go ahead. Yeah. 10 years, we'll have 15,562. 15,562. Okay. Now, now this is average. I think that I can argue clearly that you will definitely make more than this. Right? Absolutely. I can assure you. The least I think you should be doing in 10 years shouldn't be less than $50,000 that this will have turned to. However, let's even leave it at 15,000. Remember what we taught you yesterday. We remember. We said we have what? High risk. We remember? High what? Risk. We have what? Mid risk. And then we have what? Low risk, isn't it? Right? So you agree with me that this is one of your low risk category of what? Investment. True or false? So you have the high risk who gives you even more than 100% in a month. Right? That's what high risk do. You have your mid-risk, like real estate, physical assets we discussed yesterday as well. And then you have what? You have your low risk, like treasury bills, like certain paper assets as well are categorized under what? Low risk. Of course, when you then start trading, right? When you then start trading paper assets, then it also goes up to what? To high risk. Okay? Because by the time you're trading on a regular basis, your profit margin can go as high as over 100% in a month. Okay? It becomes high risk. But the good news is that if you balance your investment category, which is what we're trying to teach, I put some in high, some in mid, some in what? In low. In 10 years, I have built a fortune, legitimate fortune for myself. And that is really how wealth is created. So you don't want a situation where, Jamie, or who put this mic? It's fallen. Okay? So you don't want a situation where you stick to just one. And that's what I think is a mistake of a lot of us as investors. We stick to just one asset class and we don't try to diversify into others. Okay? It's fallen. You can just leave it. Yeah. Yes, just leave it. Just put it here. I'm sure you can pick the first for me. Okay. So let's go one to go. What were the asset class we looked at? Number one? Digital assets. Digital asset. Number two? Physical asset. Number three? Knowledge asset. Number four? Relational asset or relationship assets. Number five? Paper assets. Right? So I want to ask a question. Which of these do you currently play at the moment? Anybody care to share? Right? Which of these do you currently play? Anyone care to share? Because I also want this to be interactive. We can learn from you as well. I'm not the only lecturer here. I want to learn from you guys as well. So, which of this? Yes, sir.
Digital assets.
Can we bring mic for him? Digital assets. Okay, do you want to share with us?
Okay, so
the type of digital assets?
I usually do like 10% of my funds I put in digital assets.
Like what type of digital assets?
I do a lot of stocks. I also do some crypto as well. And then I study the market a lot. And then over time, it's been able to appreciate.
How long have you been doing that?
2 years.
2 years. Nobody give him the mic. Where's the mic?
For instance, I did Tesla shares last year around October, and then I sold by January.
So what was your profit?
I made over 100%. I bought about $200 and sold about $450 thereabouts.
Within what
3 months?
3 months.
Yes.
So what influenced you when you sold it?
Like they say, you sell when people are greedy. So of course, when Trump won the election, there was a surge in the stock, so I had to sell.
Nice.
And now I'm buying again.
Nice.
Because that's dipped to about 225, and I think it's going to go to about 400, 450 by end of the year. I was also fortunate.
Clap for him, guys.
I was also fortunate last week. I bought a Trump coin. If you know what a Trump coin is, it's a crypto asset by Donald Trump. And then in 3 days, he doubled. I bought at $8, and then in 3 days it went to $16.
Wow! How much did you buy?
I bought just $1,000, and then I pulled out at about 1,900 or so.
Clap for this man. He's obeying my rules. Let's clap for him one more time. This is what I'm happy he's sharing. And if anybody else wants to share, please share. Because I also want it to be relational and something you can relate to. Okay? A lot of time when we do classes like this, I love participants who are already in this to share
And part of the reasons why I love it is because if I'm quoting $18,000 now, everybody starts shouting. Okay, but we have people in the room who can give you relatable figures, isn't it? I did $200, it's up to this. I did $1,000. These are figures that anybody can relate to and can do as well. Because it's also one of the things you have to learn about public speaking. Don't speak above the head of your participants, right? You have to speak their language and come to their level, else people. For example, I think that marketing wise, my team, for example, shouldn't have posted on Facebook my $20,000 coaching program because people on Facebook can't afford that. That's over their head. Okay, Ike, now where is he? Right? That was a mistake. But indirectly, it's also became quite what? A blessing because it then went viral and then more people heard about it and more people joined and we made more money. So, because sometimes virality, sometimes people think it's negative, it can be positive as well. Elon Musk, are you aware Tesla has never done paid adverts? Elon Musk just leverage on virality to sell Tesla, right? And many of his businesses are like that. He just leverage on always being viral. So people think they're bullying him, but he leverage on it. Donald Trump, I heard from one of the Trump campaign insiders, they said the only rule Trump gave them during the campaign was just make sure I am the one they're talking about. Whether it was good or bad, let them just talk about it. And I don't know who gave him the data that as long as they kept talking about him, he was going to win the election. Yeah. So it didn't matter whether, are we together now? Whether it was good or it was what? It was bad. As long as they keep talking about you. And this is also another thing when I talked about digital assets yesterday. If you really want to go far, you might want to also learn to build that stamina for some of these businesses. Because there's just nothing you can do as an entrepreneur. At some point, there will be crisis. And if you don't have the thick skin for it, and if you haven't built the system for it, it's just going to crumble you and you're just going to crush yourself under the weight of the negativity and what's being said. But there are some people who have built the capacity that the more they hit, the more they ride over it, the more they, leverage on even the heat and keep moving higher and higher and higher. Okay, have we gotten value today? Yes, so I'm going to take a few questions and then we'll wrap up and go for our boat cruise, which is what we have. If you're interested in being part of the boat cruise, you need to register. Who is in charge? Is you are the one? Huh? Okay, the QR code. But you can see her in case you don't get the QR code. Wave your hand, stand up. So if you want to be, if you have not registered yet for because we brought a team of over 20 people to Doha, so they are already registered for it. But if you also want to be part of it, you can talk to her. Raise your hand. I just need you to, so everybody knows you. And so she's at the back trying to get your attention. So any question? Any question? Yes.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for this session. So my question is, what type or kind of investments can you advise one to do at the moment? Like you're having funds and we understand the real estate, the assets, the digital you just spoke about. So with your limited fund, what kind of estate, what kind of investment can you do at the moment?
So again, it's the same thing I've shared. Divide your money into these three categories, right? And what's funny is that almost the three has some form of some type you can start with. Like what he's doing is high risk, right? And you can hear the kind of how he's turning over, put 200 into Tesla, he doubled in 3 months. He sold it, pulled it out. And I hope you know that he's also doing experiments. He's building, because he started with $3. The next one, he did it with what? Trump coin, he did it with what? 1,000. So you see that, you can see that it's progressive in nature. So today you have just $200. You can put your $200 and say, which high risk can I put some $200 in? I've told you that paper assets are not what? That risky. So you can, if you have another $200, download apps that allows you to use your card, link your card, and you can download the app and you can buy stocks and shares. Are you aware you can buy fractional shares of even Apple, Amazon, Tesla right now? There are apps. So just Google, you can Google fractional shares app. Mr. Iken, are you getting that? Fractional shares app. And you link it with your card. Even for those of you in Africa, there are certain sites that allow people in Africa with African currencies and African cards, and they can still buy fractional shares of Fortune 500 companies. So that's the way you break it down, and then you grow your way. Obviously, the low risk one would not rise like the what? High risk one. But what we're saying is that you make money from the high risk just like he did. He has pulled out 1,000 what? 900. What has happened? Even if the Trump coin crashed, what happened? He will never lose. Okay? Because he already got back his capital and some profit. You see now he left $100 in the system. That $100 in another few months, you'll be sure can grow to another 5,000. It could be something Trump did, and suddenly they like Trump, and then boom, it surges, and then the $100 has turned to another $5,000. What will he do? He pull out maybe another $3,000 or another $4,000, leave another 1,000, and before you know, you keep having more money to put into the mid-risk and what? And the low-risk investments. Okay? Any more questions? Can bring the mic forward.
Mine is more like a contribution.
I hope I answered you. Okay, good.
Mine is more like a contribution. I found out one of our biggest problems is mindset.
Mindset.
Yeah, so recently I've actually been teaching that mindset is actually valuable assets. So I don't know whether you agree with that as well.
Oh, you're right. So mindset is under knowledge assets. Remember we talked about knowledge assets, right? So mindset fits into that, because what the knowledge you're acquiring will do for you is what? Transform your mind. And absolutely, your greatest asset is your mind, right? It's your mind, and it's the way you think. I think the first thing you must change with your mind is what? Who can guess? Anybody? What's the first thing you want to change with your mind? One of the most important thing is the word positivity. Ability to see the good in every situation is your greatest mindset asset. So a few people have been reaching out to me. Oh, we saw people dragging you online. I hope you are fine. Some are even sending me, music. I'm like, say in this trying time, right, where people, you are trending, we think this kind of music will help. And I'm like, I wish these people know who I am. I'm excited about the positive. My mind is more, and I'm not ignoring the negative, by the way, but my mind is more towards I've grown my followers more. We've made money more. More people are calling our offices. They want to do business with us more. I want to focus on that, okay, than getting my mind to be more focused on some unfavorable things. People are saying, oh, why is your coaching program $20,000? It's ridiculous. Why do you charge that kind of money? You don't want to help poor people. Those are the negatives. So it's my choice whether I'm going to focus on the positive or I'm going to focus on the what? Negative. But you have to work on your mind so that you can always see the positivity to every challenging situation. Things that don't go right, you can say, but this happened. Sometimes things are tough. I say, but I'm alive. A living dog is better than a dead lion. I am alive. That's something positive. That's something to be grateful for, right? And once I'm alive, there is hope. I always say this to people: the proof that you have hope is that you're alive. Once you wake up, that's one of my excited moments personally as a human. Once I wake up in the morning, my first thing is thank you, God. This is a good day. Thank you, Jesus. I'm happy, right? Because once I'm alive, there's hope for me, right? A living dog is better than a dead lion, right? Remember I told you about either being a lion or a gazelle, and I said you should be the lion, isn't it? But you must understand that if you wake up as a gazelle, there's still hope for you that you may turn to a lion one day and stop running from lions and be the one chasing gazelles. Okay? But you need to be alive first. True of us. Right? So once you're alive, there is hope. And that is what you should get you excited every day. See the positive side of things. And so when you are getting your knowledge asset, what you are using it to do is to strengthen your mind, strengthen the positivity aspect of your life and your ability to see things from a positive perspective. Make sense? Yes. Any question? Okay, please can I give him the mic?
Thank you very much, Dr. Stephen, for all you've shared. It's been very informative. And actually, it's the first time I have to talk about this. I didn't know I was going to talk about this today. But I've been motivated to talk about the concept of what he said and his question. Now, talking about investment and also digital assets, I just want to say this just to encourage some people who don't believe that you need to have so much money to create value and create wealth. You actually need to have lead you and have the right mindset and also be with the right people and have the right team and also have good people around you generally. Now in January, myself and 3 co-founders, we came together, and that was not actually the purpose why we came together. The purpose was for us to set up a tech company where we develop applications in Qatar and also outside of Qatar. Now we decided to do one thing. We decided to launch an application. If you are having Android phone, you can just go to Play Store. Look for Aluya, A-L-U-Y-A. That's my name actually.
You're doing free marketing without payment.
It's a marketing that's going to encourage everyone. Basically, we decided to start up this application for music app. We saw the market, we saw Play Store, what Play Store was doing, and we saw YouTube. We felt like people spend time streaming music online and don't get value for it. You stream music, you're not being paid for it, but Spotify is making so much money, YouTube is making money from the time you spend on the internet. So what we decided to do was to change the narrative. We decided to develop an application where we pay you for streaming music. So we did that, we developed that, and we launched it on 13th of February, right? 13th of February 2025, we launched it. And in 2 months, we had over 50,000 downloads, over 21,000 registered users, over 11,000 streamers online daily. And also we started having over $120 revenue per day within 2 months. And currently we are valued at over $1.2 million.
I think you should clap. That's not bad.
So the truth is, this is the first time I'm talking about it, and I have other Nigerians who are here. I have my boss here. I have the Nigerian embassy, one of my bosses there, and I have Sheikh Farhan, and none of them knew I had this application. It's the first time I'm saying it. But why am I saying this?
We know now.
I'll tell you why I'm saying this. We actually started this application with $4,000, which means I only contributed $1,000, and my other 4 partners, we came up to that $4,000 to start up this application. It became cheap because one of us was the coder, the developer. But what I'm saying is, with $1,000, I've been able to create an asset of over, you can calculate it yourself, the truth is, this application is just 2 months and 11 days old as of today. Is it? Yeah, about that, 2 months and 11 days old as of today, and we already have that value. Now, this application is still in a beta state at the moment. We are not on iOS yet, but we already have over 50,000 downloads. And we're going to be launching fully in the Qatar market